Good evening, ladies and gents. Well, Paul had another job interview today, so I haven't really getting up to much other than going to that, really, have we, today? I've done a few bits and pieces on the models that I'm working on, so I'm just going to quickly do that, and I'll show you what I've getting up to with those, basically just for the vlog today, really. Ella's at the vet's tomorrow, so we'll have that, and Paul's going to nip back home tomorrow as well.
Go see putty cats.
You can see putty cats. So let's have a look what these what I've been up to, because I don't think I've actually shown you what the other model is I'm working on. So let's take a look. Now, what are these? Here you ask. Well, as you know, this is the top section of the Special Weapons Dalek, and the first few coats of the white paint have gone on. Now, it doesn't matter that, you know, these bits with the bolts aren't fully painted white, because, well, those are getting painted gold, so it doesn't matter about those. It's all about this area here, and as you can see, that's all nice and smooth after I'd sanded it and put filler primer on it and everything. And that's essentially the gun section. So all these bits with the rivets in are going to be painted gold, and this area here, all this area here, is going to be left white. So we have our head there, and the head sits on that section, like so. And as we know, the eyes light up. The lighting up piece is just over the other side of all my stuff that I'm currently working on. But it basically sits like that. So all these areas here with the rivets in will be painted gold, and this area here is all white. And it's going to be heavily weathered, much like the head area as well. It's all going to be airbrushed with blacks and browns and make it look like oily and dirty and everything. Because it's white and gold, that's going to look really good. I have plenty of reference photos to look at that as well, so that should be fine. There's another thing. The white paint was quite on the glossy side. So I knocked that back a bit with a very, very, very fine sanding sponge. So just to knock that glossiness back to more of a satin. So there we go. That's that. Now the other thing I'm working on is a 3D printed model of Rey's blaster from The Force Awakens, which was given to her by Han Solo. Obviously, this is just a few select pieces of it that I'm working on at the moment. This is the main piece of the handle section with the trigger. But what I thought I'd work on first were the pistol grips. Now these were, I think the vast majority of the pieces in the kit are all black, 3D printed, and the handle grips were exactly like this. With this plastic detail with all the 3D printing lines. I'm now, after being working on it, I'm now left with this, which is incredibly smooth. This was achieved, apart from these bits down here, which I've still got to fill in. This was achieved by sanding it, then putting some filler in various places, which the sanding just didn't really get to. Then a coat of filler primer, which I then sanded, and then another coat of filler primer, which I then wet sanded, and then a final coat of filler primer, and then just a very, very light sanding with, I think, 1000 grit sandpaper, and then polished it up. And you're pretty much left with that there, with no 3D printing lines there whatsoever. You're always going to get left with like a little bit here and there, but to be honest with you, since these are going to be painted black, that's going to like hide a lot of the crimes anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. I think these are going to be painted like a gloss black, and I'll be putting some lacquer over them as well, so that'll protect them even more. But as you can see, there's very few, if any, 3D printing lines here, especially this area here. There's just none whatsoever. So they'll come up very nice when they're painted black. And they sit there on the handle like this. So you obviously have one on either side. Just put that in place there. So they sit there like that, one on either side. All this is going to be pretty simple to do, except this area here. That's a very, as you can hear, there's some very deep ridges on that model, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to tackle that yet, because the ridges are sort of pointing that way as well, so it's going to be hard to get the filler in there. So I'll have to be very cunning with some sandpaper and some of the filler. So, but I'll hopefully I'll be able to get it there, no bother. The rest of it is all pretty self-explanatory. It's very easy, so I don't need to worry about these areas here, because obviously they get covered over by the pistol grips. So it's mainly this area here on either side and the trigger area. So I've just got to worry about those, but they should sand out fine. These did sand out fine, apart from one area, which was this area here on the pistol grips. You can see in the bottom there, it didn't stand up to the sanding very well, so I'm just going to have to fill that in with some filler. Or I might just leave it as, you know, just as it looks like damage, and because when I come to weather it and put my paints in there, the dirt and the grime will go in there really nice, and it'll look like weathering. So weathering and damage. So I'm not too worried about it, to be perfectly honest. But the kit does come with all the screws and everything as well, which should go in, metal screws. And the pistol's about I'd say that long once finished. I'll show you the other pieces in another vlog. But it's a pretty simple build. It's just going to be, it's I think the pistol grips are black and the rest of it's silver. So that you know, that's fairly simple. So yeah. So we've had the Star Wars pistol and the Special Weapons Dalek. I'm finishing painting another TARDIS console, and I've got the scratch build console as well, which I've got to get back to very shortly. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. So there we go, that was that. We said tomorrow we've got to nip to the vets, take Paula home. Yeah, so that's going to be that day. Paula's just drawing away on a tablet there. Anyway, that being said, we're off, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.